and greatest black nation on earth. At this stage in our nationhood, it is important that we reflect how we got here to enable us work together to get to where we aspire to be as a strong, indivisible nation, united in hope and equal in opportunity. On October 1st, 1960, when Prime Minister Alhaji Abubakar Tafawa Balewa received the constitutional instruments symbolizing Nigeria's independence, he expressed his wish that having acquired our rightful status as an independent sovereign nation, history will record that the building of our nation proceeded at the wisest pace. This optimism was anchored on the peaceful planning, full and open consultation, and harmonious cooperation with the different groups, which culminated in Nigeria emerging as a country without bitterness and bloodshed. Our founding fathers understood the imperative of structuring a national identity using the power of the state and worked towards the unification of Nigerians in a politically stable and viable entity. That philosophy, guided with an urban population of approximately 7 million, occupying an area of 910,768 square kilometers. These demographics led to development challenges for which major efforts were made to overcome. Today, we grapple with multiple challenges with a population exceeding 200 million, occupying the same landmass, but 52% residing in urban areas. 60 years of nationhood provide an opportunity to ask ourselves questions on the extent to which we have sustained the aspirations of our founding fathers. Why did we do the right things? Are we on course? If not, where did we stray, and how can we remedy and retrace our steps? Upon attaining independence, Nigeria's growth trajectory was anchored on policies and programs that positively impacted on all sectors of the economy. However, this journey was cut short by the 30 months of civil war. We came out of the civil war with a focus on reconstruction, rehabilitation, and reconciliation that enabled the country to put in place world-class development structures and a strengthened public service that will serve the government. This positive trajectory continued with a return to democratic government, which was truncated by another round of military rule. For a cumulative 29 of our 60 years existence as a nation, we have been under military rule. My summary of our journey so far as a nation is necessary to appropriately chart where we need to go and how to get there together. Today, I am aware that our economy, along with every single economy in the world, is in a crisis. We still face security challenges in parts of the country, while our society suffers from high loss of moral rectitude, which is driven by unbridled craving for political control. An underlying cause of most of the problems we have faced as a nation is our consistent harping on artificially contrived fault lines that we have harbored and allowed unnecessarily to fester. In addition, institutions such as civil service, police, the judiciary, the military all suffered from a general decline. We need to begin a sincere process of national healing, and this anniversary presents a genuine opportunity to eliminate old and outworn perceptions that are always put to test in the lie they always are. The stereotype of thinking of ourselves as coming from one part of the country before seeing ourselves as Nigerians is a key starting point to project us on the road to our deserved nation's evolution and integration. To start this healing process, we are already blessed with the most important asset any nation requires for such, our people. And this has manifested globally in the exploits of Nigerians in many fields. It has been demonstrated time and time again that Nigerians in the diaspora frequently excel in science, technology, medicine, sports, arts, and many other fields. Similarly, the creativity, ingenuity, and resourcefulness of the Nigerian at home has resulted in globally recognized endeavors. We will be able to achieve whatever we desire. That informed our adopting the theme together to mark this epochal event. Together, we can change our condition for the better, and more importantly, together we can do much more for ourselves and for our country. I choose the path of self-reflection because this is what I do on a daily basis. And I must confess that at most times I always felt the need for a collective reflection, as I know that the foundation for a solid future which this administration is laying can only be sustainable if there is a collective commitment by Nigerians. Nigeria is not a country for Mr. President, any ruling or opposition party, but a country for all of us, and we must play our part irrespective of challenges we face to make this country what we desire. To achieve this, we must focus our minds together as a people on ways of resolving the identified critical challenges that underlie our present state. These include A, evolving and sustaining a democratic culture that leaves power in the hands of the people. B, supporting the enthronement of the rule of law, demanding accountability of elected representatives and contributing to good governance. C, increasing our commitment to peaceful coexistence in a peaceful, secure, and united Nigeria. D, harnessing and optimizing our tremendous human and natural resources to attain our goal of being in the top 20 economies of the world, and in the process, E, lifting 100 million Nigerians out of poverty in 10 years. F, strengthening institutions to make them stronger in protecting national interests. And G, imbibing tolerance in diversity. I am a firm believer in transparent, free, fair, and credible elections, as has been demonstrated during my period as a democratically elected president. The recent build-up and the eventual outcome of the Edo State election should encourage Nigerians that it is my commitment to bequeath to this country processes and procedures that will guarantee that the people's votes count. The problems with our electoral process is mainly human-induced, as desperate desire for power leads to desperate attempts to gain power and office. Democracy, the world over, and as I am pursuing in Nigeria, recognizes the power of the people. However, if some constituencies choose to bargain off their power, they should be prepared for denial of their rights. This call is made more urgent if we realize that even after a transparent, free, fair, and credible election, desperation leads to compromising the judiciary to overturn legitimate decisions of the people. It is necessary to, therefore, support the enshrinement of the rule of law by avoiding actions which compromise the judiciary. Fellow Nigerians, our history has shown that we are a people that have the capacity to live peacefully with one another. As a government, we remain committed to our constitutional oath of securing the lives and properties of the citizenry. I, however, call on the citizenry to also support government by providing the necessary community-level intelligence in addressing these challenges. In moving forward together, it is important to strengthen our economy, to provide sustainable means of livelihood for as many Nigerians as possible, so as to eradicate absolute poverty from our midst. I want to re-emphasize my dedication and commitment, a dedication and commitment that propelled my public service career and informed my quest to continually seek for an opportunity to improve the lives of Nigerians, set the country on the path of prosperity, and lead the country to a better future. This administration has been focused on rebuilding and laying the foundations for a sustainable Nigeria. Of course, we have met and are still meeting the challenges inherent in any rebuilding initiative. More so, that of a nation like Nigeria, which has undergone avoidable levels of deprivation, but can be surmounted if we all work together. I wish to reiterate that our people and our spirit of excellence remains our most important asset. In this wise, the need to return to our age-old ethical and high moral values would be necessary, and this informed by launching of the National Ethics and Integrity Policy on Monday, the 28th of September 2020. The policy will not implement itself, and the first contact of the visibility of its implementation is the public service, whose ongoing reforms would be expected to be sustainable and give a radical redirection in providing services to all Nigerians. Fellow Nigerians, in addition to public health challenges of working to contain the spread of coronavirus, we have suffered a significant drop in our foreign exchange earnings and internal revenues due to 40% drop in oil prices and steep drop in economic activities, leading to a 60% drop in government revenue. Our government is grappling with the dual challenge of saving lives and livelihoods in face of drastically reduced resources. In this regard, sustaining the level of petroleum prices is no longer possible. The government, since coming into office, has recognized the economic argument for adjusting the price of petroleum. But the social argument about the knock-on effect of any adjustment weighed heavily with the government. Accordingly, in the last 3 years, we have introduced unprecedented measures in support of the economy and to the weakest members of our society in the shape of A, trader money, B, farmer money, C, school feeding program, D, job creation efforts, and E, agricultural intervention programs. No government in the past did what we are doing with such scarce resources. We have managed to keep things going in spite of the disproportionate spending on security. Those in the previous government from 1999 to 2015 who presided over the near destruction of the country have now the impudence to attempt to criticize our efforts. In the circumstances, a responsible government must face realities and take tough decisions. Petroleum prices in Nigeria are to be adjusted. We sell now at 161 naira per liter. A comparison with our neighbors will illustrate the point. A. Chad, which is an oil-producing country, charges 362 naira per liter. B. Niger, also an oil-producing country, sells 1 liter at 346 naira. C. Ghana, another oil-producing country, petroleum pump price is 326 naira per liter. Further afield, Egypt charges 211 naira per liter. Saudi Arabia charges 168 naira per liter. It makes no sense for oil to be cheaper in Nigeria than in Saudi Arabia. Fellow Nigerians, to achieve the great country we desire, we need to solidify our strength, increase our commitment, and encourage ourselves to do that which is right and proper, even when no one is watching. Fellow Nigerians, let us collectively resolve to continue our journey beyond the 60 years on the clear understanding that as a nation we are greater together than being smaller units of nationalities. By the sufficient grace of God, we shall come through any transient challenges. It is my sincere hope that by the end of this anniversary, on September 30th, 2021, we will all be proud of taking this individual and the Federal Republic of Nigeria. God bless us all.
We rise with you. When you walk through the day, we walk with you. You're never alone because we are more than just a radio station. We are the voice of liberation. We are Pensioners 106.7 FM.
Yes, we are Pensioners 106.7 Agbarigo Nireke Ibadan. You've just listened to the national broadcast by President Muhammadu Buhari on the occasion of the nation's 68th independence anniversary. We have our analyst in the house and, of course, our news reader, Pelumi Adedoja and Mr. Williams Ero, to look at some of the certain key elements in the president's speech marking the 60th anniversary of Nigeria. Before Pelumi will take over from me, you just listened to President Muhammadu Buhari's speech talking about the founding fathers of the nation 60 years ago and how we have been able to fare as a nation. And he said a policy on ethics and morality has just been launched about a week ago just to orientate Nigerians. He called on Nigerians to have more sense of belonging in the survival and development of the country. You've listened to the speech. What's your take? Let's start from there.
Well,
and over to you, Pelumi.
Yeah, good morning. Thank you.
I have listened to the president's broadcast, and most of what he said are things that we have come to expect from the president. And looking at the Ministry of Ethics and Morality, and I am asking myself, why should a ministry like that be important? That we have to compel on people to be morally driven, to be ethical, but it's the times that we are in that he is trying to also acknowledge that time we are in. But it is a sad commentary that we have to force such a ministry on Nigerians. Now he has called on Nigerians to exhibit a deeper sense of belonging. In other words, to be patriotic. Refuse to acknowledge is the role of the leaders in the behavior or the lack of it of Nigerians. Now, why you are calling on Nigerians, it's as if the leaders and Nigerians are two different entities. You call on Nigerians, yes, but you call on yourself first. Let's see the example a leader should exemplify in you as leaders. I remember when the president came in 1983 or thereabout now, 87, when he came first time as a military head of state. Remember, they came up with a program called War Against Indiscipline, and somehow Tunde Idiagbon exemplified that program. He placed himself there at the forefront. So when people saw his zeal, it was transmitted as the zeal of the government at that time.
Okay.
And people keyed into that understanding. People were doing things the way things ought to be done because the leadership was at the forefront of making sure that it is done that way.
Okay. So the leader, you're saying the leaders should take the
Yes,
lead.
the leaders should. That is a common definition of it, is the leaders leading. Now, he talked about the founding fathers, and we look at their morality, look at their ethics, look at their commitment, look at their hunger about Nigeria. And you ask yourself, the same hunger of the founding fathers is the same hunger present today in our leaders?
Yes, and talking about the founding fathers, the president asked a question and asked that regarding the aspirations of our founding fathers, that are we still on course? Have we strayed, and where did we get it wrong? Could you please profile your own answers to those questions?
We have strayed. In all fairness, if our founding fathers would rise up from their grave today, they will be utterly disappointed about how we have gone about our lives as a people and as a nation. We have strayed. This is not the plan our founding fathers had for Nigeria. Right now, we are crawling. That is a fact. We are crawling. Our founding fathers had a far broader vision for Nigeria.
And he asked the question, where did we get it wrong? What do you think?
Leadership processing. That is where we have got it wrong. Leadership processing. If you refuse to place the right people where they ought to be, then there is no way you are going to get the bulk of what you expect, right? Because as a leader that is in that position, he is supposed to lead. Often we hear the president talking about unity. Let's be united. Then he would turn around and do something that is opposite of what he is calling on Nigerians to do. So in such a situation, what do you expect then of the followers? So the way we process our leaders have been a major problem. Our founding fathers, we have often talked about regions. Right now, it seems as if Nigeria is an albatross around the necks of Nigerians.
Okay. All right. Before we go on, you, our dear listener, can call to be part of the program this morning. The number to call is 0908 111 0908 111 or you could call 0808 010 1067, 0808 1067. You could call to make your thoughts known about what we are discussing this morning. Mr. Williams, there was this statement the president made about the price of petrol in the country and the comparison he made with some other country. He mentioned a few countries. He mentioned Niger, the 111, even Saudi Arabia 168. Say Nigeria is still selling at the cheapest. What do you have to say about this?
For me, that is a disappointing comparison. The reality on ground there is different.
In what way?
Compared to the reality on ground here. Now look at the infrastructure. Look at the things those countries enjoy. The things of those countries. Have you been to Egypt?
Not yet.
Egypt, there are roads, there are light, what we call social amenities. These things, they are present in that country. You see, Nigerians are not averse to paying a bit higher price for petroleum. But what exactly have we done? What exactly do we plan to do in the area of lifting the country out of the doldrum that it is presently? Now, you pay more. When they increased the fuel price the first time, it was to fix some things that are dilapidated. And nobody saw those things fixed. They increased again, they came up with the same reasons, the same explanations that we want to fix some of these things. We cannot sustain the regime of subsidy. Fine. But after that was removed, nothing was done to upgrade the infrastructures of the country. So when you compare yourself with other countries, look at yourself and ask yourself, what does those countries have that we are lacking? And if you are able to answer that question for yourself, then that comparison would make sense. Right now, you don't keep saying other countries are doing it this way, or other countries are paying this amount of money. Then for that reason, not putting into consideration the indices of those countries, and you are saying to yourself, I must impose the same thing on my people. It's not how it should be done. If you put now these countries now, I think Saudi Arabia, they have their refineries. Now, why don't you as a country put these things in place first? Then perhaps having done that, we will now entertain other explanations. But you have refused to put in place something that is pivotal to your economy. All you keep doing is making excuses, giving reasons why you should not put those things that are vital in place. and you say that is presidential. I don't understand that.
Okay, thank you for that. Your opinion regarding that. The number to call again is 0908 111 or call 0808 1067. The president also spoke about the civil war and the decision Nigeria made after all of that. I'd like to connect that to the statement of the vice president some days ago, talking about the state of the country and the likelihood of a breakup. Okay, we have a call.
Hello?
Hello, good morning.
This is another work Kazim from Ibadan.
Please come again, your name.
Another work Kazim from Ibadan.
Okay. Please, your
What is the thing that our president is saying, considering the prices? Yeah. Okay, we have the refineries. He has been the main minister for petrol last 5 years now to revive the refineries. He knows much about these refineries. He did the federal commissioner for petroleum, then under the James. Are you getting it?
Mm-hmm.
You should be able to let us know what the refineries, how are we going to do about them? In the next 3 years now, what are we going to do about the refineries? Because administration that we do it, they promise us that they will revive it. But we voted to power because of his integrity. He is failing us. May God continue with us.
Amen. Thank you very much for that. Okay, so speaking about President spoke about this morning, also connecting it with what we have on the front page of the Punch newspaper this morning. Afenifere Ohaneze, fault structure, ACF demands referendum on one Nigeria. Nigeria practicing unitary system, fraudulently called federalism. That's coming from Afenifere. And nation compromise federalism, drawing country back, says Ohaneze. North not afraid of restructuring, can't be intimidated, ACF Secretary General. What do you have to say?
Well, first, the Nigeria Civil War, the lessons it taught us, we have refused to learn the lessons. That is a fact. Because if you look at the trajectory, we seem to be repeating everything that led to the Civil War. We seem to be repeating that. Now, from what the Ohaneze said, the fourth structure, you see, our country, from time to time, you have to assess what you have. You look at the problems that are bedeviling our country, and you ask yourself, how can we make it better? The voices that are speaking presently, they are Nigerians, and somehow there is, a disagreement about how to move forward. Now, people have been saying, look, there is a fracture. The gulf is widening. Now, how do we make sure that we tame the reality that is somehow staring us down? Your attitude as a leader must transmit to the people what you are willing to do to keep the people one. Now, your attitude now as a leader, as a president, you have not done that really. You have not done that. That is why you see people agitating. The Yorubas are saying they want the Oduduwa state because you have what ought to be done has not been done. Now, when yesterday we talked about the quota system that was put in place to make sure that all the tribes of this country, they are accommodated in whatever decision that we make as a country. Right now, the divide when it comes to that tribe is widening because of some of the policies you have implemented as a leader. So the agitation, the anger, somehow is rising because what ought to be done, people are not represented the way it ought to be. They ought to be in a situation like this, and they are angry. Okay. The Ohaneze, the Indigo, the Afenifere, the ACF, they are all saying the same thing. They are all seeing the same thing.
Okay, talking about representation, I would not like us to leave that point, but I'd like your dear listener to know you can still call in. The number to call is 0908 1067 or 0808 Talking about representation, we have Femi Adesina saying with 200, and that's on the front page of the Nigerian Tribune, saying with 250 ethnic groups, inclusiveness will continue to be an issue. What do you have to say about that statement?
You see, it will be an issue if they make it an issue. You understand now? Now, yes, we may be 250 ethnic groups, but basically we all need the same thing: a better life. Right? A better life. Now, in the House of Assembly, let me make an example now. Our House of Assembly, we have our reps there, and they all are from different tribes and they practice different religion. But there is coherence amongst them, because in one way or the other, their own religion and their own tribe there has become their comfort. You understand? Their own comfort. So an Hausa man, a Yoruba man, an Igbo man, and a Doma, we want the same comfort. So if you take steps to make sure there's equity in how we do things, how I deal with a Yoruba man, I deal the same way with an Igbo man, with an Edoma, an Efik man. Now, when they see that we are universal in the way we handle these issues when it comes to the individual tribes, then that understanding will be that, look, we are a country. Now, you keep doing things that polarizes the country, drags people apart instead of bringing them together. Of course, there will be ethnic issue, because when you act a certain way towards an Igbo man, and tomorrow you act a certain way towards an Hausa man, he will ask himself, am I a Nigerian? So there will be that pull apart because you decide to treat them, differently. Last time, Sani, the former Senator Sani, said you treat some corrupt people with deodorants and you treat some with insecticides. That is the problem. As long as people are treated differently within the entity called Nigeria, then there's always going to be this, because I am not from this tribe, because I am not from this religion. How do we take away that mindset from Nigerians? It's you as leader not using it as a weapon to foster your own agenda. Today, in Rwanda, there was a time when the Hutsi and the Tutsi were at each other's neck, killing themselves. They had one of the worst genocide in the history. But today, they have a leader that has made it a crime to say you are a Hutsi or you are a Tutsi. You are Rwandians. You understand? So now people see it as we are one. There is no need for this distinction. We may be from different tribes, but as a nation, our national agenda is number one. So how do we key into this national agenda and make it work? That is just it. And the leaders it is their duty. You must be at the forefront of making sure that the people see where you are trying to lead them to. What we are seeing presently is not a people being led towards where they want to be their destination.
Okay, thank you so much for that. With Nigeria at 60, we hear the president talking about the need for national healing, for the nation to be healed. I'll just like your thoughts regarding that, and what you would consider as the way forward for Nigeria getting to this age in independence.
The way forward, personally, we have to ask ourselves, first and foremost, do we want a democracy? If we want a democracy, then let's define that democracy. Right now, what we are practicing, nobody can really tell what it is. The democracy, a unitary government, or nobody can really pinpoint what exactly it is, and that gives room for confusion. Now, having decided what kind of government we want to run, then we ask ourselves, what are the things we must put in place to make sure that it is protected? Now, there is so much impunity in the land, And this impunity, we must always point to the leaders. They are at the heart of the impunity. Now we must ask ourselves, what are the consequences to this impunity? Because a country that is lawless, there's no how you can say we are going to advance, because there's lawlessness at the very bedrock of that country.
We have a caller. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, ma.
Good morning. What's your name and where you calling from?
Ma, and good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
My name is Tajudeen, okay, from Makalan.
Okay, what do you have to say, Mr. Tajudeen?
Is Atuto and the constitution, Atuto, we want it in Nigeria. That is it. That is what we want.
Okay, thank you very much for your thoughts.
So, yes, and also as like what you said, the constitution of this nation, somehow it has been like an albatross around the neck of this nation. So we must look at that constitution critically and ask ourselves, what are the things that must be done? Not all this piecemeal review that we carry out every now and then. We must look at it holistically.
Okay.
All this our confabs that we have heard, truly there are some recommendations in those confabs that we could use. Let's truly sit down as a people and say, look, we have had 60 years. We are celebrating our Diamond Jubilee. We have not achieved much. Going forward, the problems that we have seen, the issues that are somehow uppermost at our hearts, let's come and look at these issues without saying I am a Yoruba, without saying I am an Igbo, without saying I am an Edo, or I am a Christian or a Muslim. This is Nigeria. There is a need for us to move this country forward for our children. So what are the sacrifices that must be made to make sure that this country is advanced?
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Williams. We appreciate you. And we as at this point, we will be drawing the curtain for Newsreel for today. We thank you for joining us. We appreciate our caller. We appreciate Onolako Kazim from Ibadan and Mr. Tajudeen. Okay. Thank you for calling. Thank you, you all, our dear listener. Thank you for joining us. Wishing you a happy Independence Day, and also understand that you also have a responsibility for Nigeria to grow and become that country of your dream. My name is Pelumi Adedoja. I say have a splendid day.
We rise with you. When you walk through the day, we walk with you. You're never alone, because we are more than just a radio station. We are the voice of liberation. We are Pensioners 106.7 FM. Starting off your day on a smooth note is our concern on Pensioners 106.7 FM. We treat you to trending stories. Make your day with the latest in the world of sports, health, business, economy, entertainment, and loads more. We are the voice of liberation. We are Pensioners 106.7 FM.
Pensioners FM 106.7. Give me the good sound. I love good sound. What a one now. I love Pensioners FM. What you say, nah. I love good